Hey, hi, hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? Um, I'm back. Actually, I am. Yep. Hi, hello. So this portion of the video, this beginning black screen portion, will be kind of update on what was happening with me. Small one, tiny one. This is actually the third time I'm recording this video. I thought about going into detail about what happened, but I'm probably just gonna keep it short and just say that a lot of things happened and I wasn't feeling the best. A lot of things happened with my studies in the college, a lot of things happened with my health, both mental and physical. But now I'm better. Not great, but better. And I finally feel like going back to making videos. And I actually waited until today specifically to release this video because, as you know, tomorrow we're gonna have a big Final Fantasy XIV stream where most likely they're gonna give us some teasers, if not straight up tell us what the things about the new expansion. Maybe we're gonna see a trailer. Maybe they're gonna straight up tell us about the new jobs that we're gonna get. Maybe they're just gonna tease us. And so I thought that um, sure would be a good moment to release this video right now. Pretty much, this is the video about me predicting classes for 6.0, and possibly tomorrow and or on Saturday we will know if I'm correct or not. So yeah, I think that's fun. At the end of the video, there's gonna be another segment where I'm gonna talk about this channel and what I do and such. But with that being said, yeah, let's get into it and see if this video is gonna be below 20 minutes. So classes, we're gonna have new classes 6.0, lovely. I'm gonna try to predict them, and if I'm gonna get anything right, my bows are going to double in size for every correct prediction. Sounds good. So, as we all know, 6.0 is going to be kind of a finale to the storyline that we had with Asians and Zodiac and Hydaelyn and such. Also, spoilers. I probably should have mentioned that. Spoilers, yeah. Obviously. After that, 7.0, 8.0, I'm sure we're gonna have further expansions, but it's going to be new territory, whatever that means. And so, a lot of people speculate that this expansion might be the last time we get new classes, period. Some people speculate that from now on, after 6.0, we're going to have only one new class per expansion. So where do I land in this? Because my opinion on this heavily factors in what I believe the new class is going to be. So I personally believe that 6.0 is probably, at least for a while, going to be the finale of us receiving new proper jobs. I'm also going to refer to them as jobs, not classes, because that's what they are in Final Fantasy XIV. So new jobs, I think that 6.0 is going to be the final time we get them, and after 6.0, so 7.0, 8.0 and such, we will get limited jobs such as Blue Mage. With that being said, that is why I believe that with 6.0 we're gonna receive 3 new jobs. That's a bold claim, but my logic here is two factors. So first one is the fact that our first expansion was Heavensward, and in it we received 3 classes, well, jobs. Wow, I'm already messing up. Great, lovely. 3 new jobs: Astrologian, Dark Knight, and Machinist. And it is my belief that we're gonna receive 3 new jobs right now at our final expansion of this current storyline. And also, if you would look at all the jobs that we have right now, we have 4 tanks, 4 physical DPS, but only 3 magical DPS, ranged DPS, and 3 healers. To me, it just makes sense for them to add 3 classes to round everyone out and have 4 of each. It just makes sense. Because of that, let's get into who I think each of those will be. So, starting with Magical DPS or Caster, I believe that the class is going to be a Warlock. Now, the team, the devs behind Final Fantasy XIV have been teasing us with different classes here and there, especially over 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3, as well as 5.35 with Bosnia. They've been introducing various characters who have more non-standard classes or jobs to them. And one of those was Ranjit, who had a dragon which was very similar to Golbez from Final Fantasy IV, whose speciality was Warlock. So I believe that it just makes sense for the next caster to be Warlock and for the weapon to be Dragon. Now, how would you make difference? How would you separate a Warlock and Black Mage? Well, Black Mage is about destructive spells and black magic that is heavily that is heavy in black ether. Let's put it that way. Speaking hard, Jesus. Warlock can be different in a number of ways. First of all, instead of relying on dark ether, it can be something like chaos energy, chaos ether, you know? They could introduce this new kind of resource in the world, such as chaos energy or void energy, because everyone who played Final Fantasy V or know anything about Final Fantasy V know that void does exist, and in Final Fantasy XIV, it kind of been shown, but in Omega Raid, so we don't really know if it's real or not, but it could be. They could make it real. And dragons could factor in by either being the product of the void or the chaos, or they could be the opposite. They could be guardians that protect people from this chaos or void energies, and you could make a pact with one or tame one or something along those lines. Of course, because the idea would be that as a warlock, you yourself do not necessarily cast a spell. You kind of use a dragon to cast a spell through your dragon. Now, calling them dragons might be a bit incorrect because I don't believe they actually will be real dragons. I think that they will either be some sort of creatures that take on the form of a dragon, or maybe they are machines, or maybe they're like magical armor creatures that come to life with your ether, something along those lines. One of the ideas could be that they could be machines created by the civilization that fought Midji when he escaped to Hydaelyn, the same people who created Omega. It could be their creation, which would explain why they look like dragons. So, lore-wise, I think that is all I wanted to hit on. I mean, of course, if they do not want to introduce any sort of chaos or void energy, what they could do instead is they could introduce the idea that through your dragon, you cast purely dark spells. So imagine like a black mage who just does foul non-stop. Pretty much that. Looking at Ranjit, we saw that he also transformed his dragon in kind of like a scarf and a scythe. I don't think we're gonna get that necessarily. There could be a mechanic that you, kind of like Red Mage, where you do spells and you build up some sort of resource, maybe something like heat, let's call it. And then once you are properly heated, you can enter your fusion state where you get a scythe or something like that, and then you rush at your enemy and fuck him up a bit and then go back. Could be, could be not. What I think could be an amazing mechanic for a warlock is a slow mechanic, which would be a callback to Exdeath from Final Fantasy V. Now, the idea I had here is that you as a warlock would have an ability which would apply like an 80 or 90% slow to your heavy, I guess more properly. And you would be really heavy, meaning that you would not be able to move at all. However, you would gain a fast cast, fast recast ability, which literally would allow you to teleport across the map. I think that could be a cool gimmick. Moving on from that, my second job that I speculate we will see in 6.0 is none other than Necromancer, as we saw in Heroes Gauntlet Dungeon in, what was it, 5.3. That's right. Though, I don't actually think they're gonna make Warrior of Light an actual Necromancer. I don't think Warrior of Light is gonna be a Raising Dead. I think it's more going to be like a fusion between a Necromancer and kind of like a Witch, where the gimmick could be that you are taking living ether from the ground, which is left by the people who died. So you're kind of doing necromancy, but in a more organic way. So more of a witch than an actual necromancer. Since we have White Mage who specializes in regen, and then Scholar who specializes in shields, and Astrologian who kind of specializes in both, I think that Necromancer could also specialize in both. There could be different stances that you can take to either apply regen or shields, but I think the biggest gimmick of Necromancer Witch could be, first of all, buffs and debuffs. Maybe not so much debuffs, because Final Fantasy XIV doesn't really like debuffs that much. You don't often have classes who would apply debuffs, though Witch could be different in that this job could apply a lot of debuffs on the enemy. But I think another interesting gimmick could be just a bunch of buffs. Maybe as a witch you can apply some sort of berserk buff to your target, where they will receive health based on damage that they do. So pretty much something that physical DPS already has, but now a healer can bestow it upon anyone they wish. AoE healing or AoE abilities would also be nice. It would also factor into the fact that you're taking ether from the ground, from the earth. So that could be a nice idea, that a lot of AoE abilities that you can place or create around you. Maybe as you walk, it moves with you. That's another idea. To use a term in which people use a lot in a game called Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, it could be like an aura ability. So you create some sort of ability and it's ongoing ability, and people around you can get benefits from it as long as they stand close enough to you. They can introduce a gimmick where the Necromancer could actually have a damage combo rotation similar as Gunbreaker, and you do damage to a target, and this increases the healing potency of your abilities. That would also be interesting. Another thing which I would think would make Witch Necromancer very interesting, amazing, and my favorite healer immediately is either AoE Mass Insuna ability, or some sort of ability which maybe some sort of AoE ability once again, which straight up blocks any status effect debuffs that could be Insuna way. It's like the people just cannot get them. That would be really lovely. In terms of weapons, I thought that there are 3 possibilities. One of them is a dagger. Now, not the same thing that Ninja has. Ninja has more of like a short blade, which is Ninjato. I might be butchering right now, but one of those blades that people believe that Shinobi used. Whereas Necromancer could have an actual dagger, like a small ritual kind of dagger, which is not actually meant for fighting. The Necromancer would not use it for fighting. It's more like it would like float around the Necromancer maybe as they cast a spell or something to sort of similar extent. Another possibility are rings, calling a reference to Arciela from Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, who is referred in Final Fantasy XI as a witch. Rings could be another weapon that you have. You put them on, you use your hands to cast spell, very articulate. And another idea I had is a lantern, since in paganism there are quite a few creatures who have lanterns which they use to guide the spirits to the afterlife. So that could be an interesting callback to where your character has a lantern which they use to cast spells. And of course, all three of those could be used in combinations. You can have lantern and a dagger, lantern and rings, rings and dagger, all three together. So I think that works. And first of all, I'm gonna take a sip of water. I'm not gonna edit this out because I fucking hate editing, which is not great. But you've came to this channel. You subscribe to high effort script, low effort editing, something like that. Now for the third class, who is ranged DPS, this is the one I'm having the most trouble with, and I'm gonna say it out loud. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea what the class could be. And that is why I decided to look at the possible weapons that they could use. I think that looking at weapons is a lot more important than looking at classes or jobs. And looking at weapons that they haven't used yet that they could use, I came to a conclusion that there's only 2 weapons that realistically would fit a ranged DPS character, which they haven't used yet and are not similar to any other weapons that they have in the game right now. Those are a whip and a bowl. Now, a whip is a pretty straightforward weapon. Could be something like Quistis has from Final Fantasy VIII. The only problem with it is that if this whip is like a technical weapon, and the idea is that the class is technical. Let me see if I can lower a volume a little bit. I feel like the volume is a little bit too high. So I hope it did not ruin the entire video just now. I really hope. The idea is that if a whip is too technical, and the idea of the class is that you kind of like a technical ironwork, maybe ranged DPS with a whip, it could be a little bit too similar to Machinist. So that is why I really like the idea of a bowl. Bowl is similar to the one that I actually forgot his name. The guy from Final Fantasy X uses. One of those bowls that they use in Blitzball, I believe it's called. Vaka, that's his name. There you go. And I personally kind of like this idea. You might say that it might be a bit too similar to Dancer, but I think that there's enough difference between like sharp, thin chakramas, I believe that's what they're called, and like a dull, big, blunt bowl. So I think if a class that would have a bowl as a weapon could work similar to a bard, in the sense that Machinist and Dancer are more fast-paced classes, as well as Bard is more of a slow-paced class, and I think that a job with a bowl could be slow-paced as well. You do your moves slower, but they hit harder, and as you do them, you build up resources, which then you use for some sort of a devastating combo attack, similar to Blitzball and Final Fantasy X. But I think that they could do a lot of interesting designs with the balls. And those are my predictions, if we're being honest. That's all I have. That's all that I came up with. If anything of that is correct, I will put a crown on myself. But now, quickly, I would like to go over limited jobs that we could see potentially in the future, as well as some other job and weapon ideas that I saw people throw around. So one of them is obviously Time Mage, because we saw Time Magic in Eden raid, and I think Time Mage could very realistically be one of the next limited jobs. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with a Time Mage, especially since limited job can be as broken and as OP as you want. So yeah, I think Time Mage can be really fun. Another one that people really want to see is Beastmaster. I think it's a proper job. Beastmaster would be too similar to like a summoner. it would not be interesting enough. But as a limited job, I think Beastmaster would be an incredible job. You can literally just go to like Azim Steppe and like fight a bull and Pokemon style tame the bull and gain some sort of animalistic abilities or summon them in battle straight up. Could be really fun. And I think that Whip would fit a Beastmaster job a lot more because of that. Another idea that I saw people throw around is Alchemist or Chemist as a healer. I think Chemist or Alchemist once again would work a lot better as a limited job because then you could combine it with actual Alchemist crafting job, and the idea could be that you craft specific potions that you can then use as a Chemist fighting limited job, and that you can do a bunch of combination and create like potions which can give you like 9 million hit point defense or cause 9 million point damage attack. I think as a limited job it works a lot better. As some of the weapons that there are, crossbow I think would not work because it's just too similar to a bow and a gun that Machinist has. Also, if you look at the latest Bard relic weapon, it kind of has, as you can see right now, it kind of has crossbow aesthetic to it, so I don't think it would work too well. Some people threw around the idea of a hammer. If you introduce a Time Mage, you can give him a hammer. I just don't see what class would benefit from having a hammer right now. Though hammer could work, because if we're gonna go to Ilsebard, there is a northern Viking-like part at the north of Ilsebard, so that is potentially one place where you could have like Viking-like characters or jobs or hammers and such. Rune Fencer is another job that people were talking about. I don't think it's gonna work because in Final Fantasy XI, Rune Fencer was kind of played almost like Dark Knight plays right now in Final Fantasy XIV. And also Rapier, we kind of have Rapier as a weapon with Red Mage. An idea of Rune Mage is interesting, like a healer maybe with a hammer and a shield who smacks out runes on their shield to cast spells. That would be interesting, but I decided to go in favor of Necromancer. Finally, there's an idea of Automaton. Kind of weapon character, but once again that will be just too similar to like a summoner, so once again I don't think it's gonna work. And those are my prediction. I released them literally not even less than a day, like let me count, but by the time this video goes up it's probably going to be about 12 to 15 hours before the live stream goes up. So we're gonna see if I'm correct or not. And you know, if you loved any of my ideas, leave a comment below. If you hated them, leave a comment below about how much I suck ass. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually wanted to do this video later, but then I saw Mr. Happy make a video about job predictions and I was like, oh, the live stream is gonna be happening soon, right? And yeah, I kind of remembered it and I was like, hey, fuck it, let's do it, right? And so yeah, this is it. That's the end of the video, at least the prediction part. Right now I will talk a bit about this channel and my plans for the future, so if you're not interested, feel free to leave, and I hope you enjoyed your stay here. And if you are interested, well, here we go. So am I going to be making more videos? Yes, I do plan to make more videos. You want to make at least one video for every 2 weeks. It might not sound a lot at all because I barely edit my videos and they're not 1 hour long, and you might be saying that I'm a lazy piece of shit, which I probably am, but that's going to be my bottom line. If I can do more, great. Because other than that, I'm also currently writing. I'm writing a novel, which but I hope to finish it by the summer. Now, I don't plan to release individual chapters here and there. I plan to write the whole thing and then release the whole thing for free, obviously. I don't expect people to pay for it because nobody knows who I am yet. Well, I mean, some people know, some people watch this video, so that's there, I guess. But if there's anyone here interested in reading my stuff, I could look into releasing individual chapters as I write them. That could be interesting. Other than that, I'm also working on a game, but that's like very down the line, so there's probably no reason to even talk about that, but I am doing that with a friend. It's going to be text-based game because none of us can draw or anything of the sort, but something better than nothing, right? Now, the biggest thing probably is the fact that I plan to finally start streaming. I want to get back into streaming with a game called Divinity Original Sin 2. A lovely game. I want to replay it and start streaming again with that game. Right now, I'm currently working on my VTuber motto, actually, so it's going to be a little bit of a debut, if you wish. So that's going to be happening down the line, maybe about 2 to 3 weeks from now, maybe. I'm like aiming like end of February, beginning of March kind of start. Yeah. Other than streaming goes, videos, I'm gonna be making videos about Final Fantasy XIV. There are a few videos I want to make about Final Fantasy XIV, but there's also other videos that I want to make. Some about Murcielago. I do hope that you've kept reading Murcielago, because if you have not, there's going to be a quiz at the end of a month, and if you do not pass, that's it. That's the end. So I'm going to make another video about that, a few videos about manga in general, videos about other games, and I also want to branch out a bit and make videos about more non-game, non-anime kind of topics. I actually want to make a video about something political, if you wish, about transhumanism. I think that could be an interesting video to make, especially since the potential of it becomes more real with every day. That could be fun. Kind of branch out, you know? And those are kind of all of my ideas for the future. So if you like me, if you like watching my stuff, if you're interested, feel free to go down in the links below. Not links below. Feel free to look down into the description, which has links. There you go. That's how you're supposed to say it. Links to various places you can find me. My Twitter, where I don't often tweet, but I do repost a lot of art. So if you like that, feel free to follow me. And I'm also going to be updating you on other stuff as soon as I get more people watching me and following me. Feel free to follow me on my Twitch. Once again, right now I'm not streaming, but I will be coming back to streaming soon as a VTuber. So, hey, one more into the pod, am I right? And feel free to subscribe to this channel and watch more videos as they come out, and just leave your thoughts. It might not sound like that, but I genuinely appreciate everyone who watches my stuff, likes, leaves comments, it's whatever. But even if you just watch, like I have some videos which have like over 100 views. That's kind of crazy that like people actually watch it. So yeah, that's really sweet, because I know that my videos are not the highest quality, but the fact that you still stick around, that's nice. And I'm trying to stretch time, because the video right now is 29 minutes, and I just really want to push it to just 30 minutes at this point. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the video. Be on the lookout for more in the future. I do hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, stay alive over there. But if you can keep watching my videos when dead, I don't mind. I don't judge, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.